What's going on, guys? Shane here, another Fight Tips Quick Tip. So I want to give a quick shout out to my man Michael the Product Right, who sent me out his Jim's t-shirt rash guard. This thing's awesome. Thank you guys very much. So today we're talking about what causes weak chins, glass jaws, suspect chins. You've heard a bunch of different terms. We're going to talk about how to prevent knockouts and concussions, and then we're going to talk about these fighters who suffer one knockout and it seems like their career sort of goes downhill, just a repetition of knockouts from there on out, and what I think causes it. All right, so let's talk about the former, how to prevent knockouts. I've used this example before. Think about someone like Nick Diaz, who's never been knocked out before. He takes a lot of hits on the face, on the chin, and you may think that it's just genetics or he's got a strong neck to absorb the hits, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. What my theory is, though, is he watches punches coming in. He's not afraid to get hit. And when you think about things that happened like, what was it, a year or two ago, where kids were running around knocking people out, they called it the knockout game, and hoodlum kids were sneaking up behind strangers and just knocking them out when they weren't ready. It wasn't because there was little Mike Tysons running around and they had super powerful hands. It's because when someone's walking home from work after a long day of work, they're relaxed, they're thinking about 100 different things, they're not ready, they're not braced, and expecting a hit to the jaw. So you're totally lax and calm. That's what causes the knockout, right? So same thing in boxing. In a boxing match or in mixed martial arts, you may not see a punch coming. Someone may roll under your punch and give you a quick left hook. It's usually not this huge wound up punch that knocks you out. It's a very short, clean, crisp hook to the chin or an uppercut. But the one that you don't see coming, it's just right outside of your line of vision, or your eyes are closed and you're not tensed up. You don't see where the punch is coming. You don't roll with it. You don't tense your neck up or tuck your chin, right? Or clip it with your hand a little bit. And Nick Diaz always sees the punches coming. He always rolls with the punch a little bit or braces for it, right? And I think that's one of the reasons why he avoids getting knocked out, is because he sees those punches coming. Another thing that you can do, and I highly recommend, I've done videos on this years ago, is neck exercises. You can do bridges when you're laying on your back and roll back to your head. Mike Tyson used to do these all the time. You can do howls to the moon, where you look up to the ceiling and then just lift your jaw up, your chin up, and you can feel it working all the muscles in your neck, in the front of your neck. You want to work the sides and the back, because no matter which side you're taking that punch, which is forward, back, you want to make sure it's built up all around, okay? And now we're talking about, so fighters like, the first person who comes to mind is Randy Couture. I feel like he got knocked out, and then after that, he was getting beat. It seemed like he had that suspect chin. And me and Faraz Sahabi, we just did a video recently where we talked about concussions and how long should you take off after having a concussion before getting back into fighting. Now, you're supposed to, you have to take 30 to 90 days off. You know, that's based on medical terms. Usually if you're fighting in an organization, you suffer a KO loss, they won't let you fight for usually 90 days until you can get back in there, because they want your brain to recover. With that being said, not only should you not fight within those 90 days, I don't even think you should be sparring, especially sparring, but you shouldn't even be running. You shouldn't even be doing any high intense stuff, because you don't want your brain bouncing around in there. Now there's 3 levels of concussions, right? There's a mild concussion, which is you don't lose consciousness and you have the effects less than 15 minutes. Then there's stage 2, which is, again, you don't lose consciousness, but the effects last more than 15 minutes. And then the stage 3 is losing consciousness. So you don't necessarily have to be knocked out to receive a concussion. If you take a big hit and you're not knocked out, even then I would say give yourself like 30 days rest before you spar again. I know you want to get right back into it, but it's your brain. It's a vital organ, and you got to look at these guys. There's some really scary videos out there of Muhammad Ali and Gary Goodridge and other fighters who have had a tough career, didn't give themselves enough rest, and they're paying the price now. You know, like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and brain loss, dementia, suicidal thoughts. It's scary. So you got to be safe, and you got to make sure you train smart. Don't only train hard, but train smart, especially if you want to make a career out of fighting. All right, stay safe, guys. I sort of went on a ramble with this one. There's a lot of information, but be safe and be good to your body. All right, until next time, make sure you subscribe so you can get the fight tips before your opponent does, and send me a tweet on Twitter at Fight Tips, and I'll answer a question. If you got a question like this, you can answer it in a quick tip video. Till next time, I'm Shane with Fight Tips. Self-defense for the underdogs.